Today we're going to be talking about why young adults are losing interest. And I have my special friend here, Ashley.
Hi.
She is one of my really close friends, and I thought this would be a really good opportunity to have a really good conversation with her about her feelings, her feelings towards, her faith, how she's gotten there, and just really have a conversation together and really discuss some really, really good topics. So, Ashley, if you want to just let us know a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, like she said, I'm Ashley. I'm 24, about to be 25, and I work as a medical assistant, and my faith journey, I would say, started about 5-6 years ago, where I really started to feel like I had that connection with God, and since then, it hasn't been easy, but it's been a ride, I guess. So.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I know. So you're in Catholic Millennial Ministry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know, I think for me personally, and I think maybe you could vouch and say the same, is that the ministry has been such a huge role in our faith journey and where we are today, and how committed we are. And I think it's really given us a great outlet to kind of learn more about our faith and really just be around young adults who are in the same place that we are, maybe more advanced or maybe just starting out in their faith journey. And it's really comforting in knowing that, we have that group of people that we can go to. So thank you for being here. I'm really excited.
Thank you for having me.
It's always good having conversations with you, so I'm excited. Yeah. All right, so what are we talking about today? So today we're going to be talking about why young adults are losing interest. Why are we losing interest in the church? This is a problem.
It's a good topic. It needs to be talked about.
Yeah, it needs to be talked about. It's a really huge problem for several reasons. One, I want to make sure you know that this problem is being addressed. Two, I want to offer some solutions to people like us, practical options that we can apply to our daily lives, and really just help us become more active in our faith and proud of our Catholic faith and who we are as Catholic Christians. So I really want to talk about that. So first things first. So why are young adults losing interest, right? It's a touchy subject. And I think for several reasons is because we don't want to talk about the negative, but we need to talk about the negative in order to come up with solutions, right?
Yeah.
So, so what are some reasons why young people are not interested or losing interest in the church, and why maybe they may be looking for fulfillment in other ways? So in other ways, meaning I don't know, what
they have more fun hanging out with friends, right, or going out to clubs and partying than they would at church.
Right.
But that's because they just don't understand what's going on.
Right. Or they don't care to learn.
Right.
So I think really if young adults really just took the initiative to kind of learn more, to genuinely learn more, and it's not just dive yourself in and become obsessed with it. That's not what we're talking about here at all. We're just talking about taking little steps, little practical steps that'll just get you to where you personally want to be with your relationship with God, right? And where you want to be in your faith, and your commitment to, your faith, the Catholic faith. And so it takes a lot of work. I mean, it's not easy. It's not supposed to be this easy ride where it's
no.
Okay, all right, yeah, God, I'm here, and I really want to know about you, and that's great and all, right? Cool. But then what?
Right.
What are you going to do to follow up with that? Saying those words, you're saying those words to God, right? You're hey, I'm here, I want to learn more about you, but what are you going to do about it? What are you actually going to do? It takes work. It's a relationship, right? When you're in a relationship with somebody, you make it work. You sacrifice things, you give so much of yourself. You're really just open, right? Like it's like a normal relationship. People, I know some of y'all have relationships. I mean, it's hard. I mean, there are good times and there are bad times, and there's those things in between. And so it's really just wanting to take
that initiative
and really make that commitment. I mean, it's about commitment, you know. And so so I just want to talk about just very few points, very few key points of maybe why we think young people are losing interest in the church, and some key points that I think we have heard in our participation in Catholic Millennial Ministry in the young adult group, and some of the testimonies that we really have heard. And so one of the major things that we have found and that I've heard commonly is that they just do not know enough about their faith. Like, we go to CCD, we go to confirmation, right? We learn like the very basics of Catholicism, right?
Enough to get you through all the sacraments,
right. And even then,
like, all right, it's
right.
up to you now.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, you're still like,
you still don't understand
it. You're there because either A, your parents made you,
right?
B, your parents made you, or C, maybe you really do care. Maybe there's that few that actually really want to learn.
I feel like there are ones that want to learn, but they are too scared to like make that step to keep going.
Yeah, especially since now in society it's like, oh, you're not cool if you go to church.
Right.
Like, you're lame.
Right.
You're corny. Why are you going to church? Like, you know that God's not real. Or
right. Or
whatever
you don't
things
need him
people
in your life
or
in order to feel fulfilled or accomplish all the things you want.
Exactly. Whatever nonsense they be listening to at school, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we go to confirmation. We go to CCD. We do our confirmation classes, and we receive our sacraments, right? But I'm going to say personally for me, and maybe for you too, and I know definitely for the other young adults that I've spoken to, they do not know the real, like, how beautiful it is, like, what it really means to receive, like, your first communion, or, like, how you, or confirmation, like, you're receiving the gifts of the Holy Spirit. Like, that is something that stays with you for the rest of your life. Even baptism, like, of course we don't remember that, but we're stamped for life in the Catholic Church once you're baptized. And so that's something that marks us for life. And that's our initiation into our faith, right? That's our initiation to our faith. And so we continue that initiation with communion. We're receiving our first communion, right? We're accepting, Jesus into our life. Not Jesus, but obviously Jesus.
Yeah,
you're accepting Jesus. You're accepting your faith into your life.
Right.
And when you receive confirmation, that's you acting on it. You've received the gifts of the Holy Spirit, and you're able to move forward on with your life, knowing that you're equipped with the things that God wants you to be equipped with.
Yeah.
And so people just don't know. They don't understand. They don't understand how the importance of communion. They don't understand the importance of confirmation. So that's a huge thing, lack of formation.
I think another part of that too is like it comes from the home. Like if the parents don't teach the kids at home like what the meaning of confirmation and all the sacraments are, like how are you supposed to put that all on the CCD teacher to teach them that?
Right. In a span of a couple months.
Yeah, it's not going to work. And I've heard from CCD teachers that said like they can see like that there's kids that are interested in learning about more, but they go home and they're not supported in that way. That their parents just, are doing it because they feel like they have to get their kids through the sacraments, but they're not doing their part either. So I think it starts at home and then it just transgresses into the rest of their life. Right. And so if that foundation isn't made, how is it going to grow?
It's not a really sturdy foundation for us, for people like us. Now young adults are in this, we're in this phase of like a questioning phase. And why are we questioning is because we had no real foundation. And if you aren't questioning and you've had that, you know, that foundation at home from the start, that's great. You know, that's amazing. And I challenge you to really just take the initiative, make it grow, and really spread that knowledge to people like us, people that maybe, you know, your friends, your people at school, people at work, you know, really just spread that joy of your faith and obviously of the gospel. So, you know, the Pope calls us to do that. So that's one huge thing that, you know, I think brings a lot of young adults into that, like, phase of, like, I don't know, like, I'm not really sure. I don't know if I really want to commit to this. Yeah. And then it's like, after confirmation, then what? You go to a youth ministry for a couple months, and then
you feel like you don't have anything else after that.
And then that's it. You can either go off to college or you start working, and so life becomes hectic, and then there's really nothing else for you to go to. Nothing for people like us to go to, directed for us, right? So that's one. Two, another huge thing I think that I have heard is a lot of young adults maybe feel like they're unnoticed, right? Like they're just like not wanted, or like not feel like they don't belong,
or they're not like important,
or they're not important, like they have like they have pretty much like they're not significant, right? And this is I think maybe I personally have felt this way in certain things. Not now, because you know, I have taken the initiative to make myself more active, you know, in the parish and, you know, throughout the diocese and with the ministry. But I know I've heard a lot of times it's just like I think a lot of maybe the parishes feel like young adults is just like I feel like sometimes they feel like we're phasing out. Right. Like once we get our sacraments, I kind of feel like they expect it, and they're like, all right, if they're not going to come back, like, why should we try to develop programs or ministries that are going to be for them if nobody's going to come? Right. You know, so they kind of just don't want to waste their time, and I mean, I get it. Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, us as young people, we have a lot to offer to the church. I mean, we're vibrant, you know, we have great ideas, you know, things that maybe the parish could be doing, you know, activities, fundraisers, like we're pretty creative bunch, I think. And so we have a lot of things that we can offer. And if you're feeling like maybe you want to take initiative, or like you want to take part in that, or you feel like you want to become active in some way, then like do it. Just do it. Like, don't even be scared. Or if you have questions, like ask questions. Ask your pastor. Ask, you know, you know the like successful young church, the church people, leaders, like church leaders who are really common that you see a lot, like a lot all the time. Maybe they're lectors, or maybe they're leaders in some of the other ministries. Like, ask questions, take the initiative to do it, like take the initiative to learn more about your faith, and you have that right to know. You have that right to know more about what God wants from you, and you're not going to know unless you ask. I mean, what's the worst answer you can get? No. I don't got time for you. Like, okay, I'm going to ask somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, be passionate. Be passionate, and take pride in knowing that you deserve those answers. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way that it's going to get you to where you want to be with God, right? With your relationship with God ultimately. I think another reason maybe why young adults maybe losing interest is when it has to do with, so I don't know how to put it into words, but right now, like, I think the way society is playing out right now is we look for instant gratification, right? Like, we look for like those instant results. We look for like,
you want your relationship with God to be like now when you want it, and you want it to, you know, pan out the way you want. Like, instead of you saying, Lord, do your will in my life, you're just saying, you know, Lord, I really want this one thing, so just make it happen. Like that. Yeah, that's, and then after that, it's like,
works. All right, peace, we're done.
Right.
Like, thanks after for your help. You really got me out of this one. And then God's probably like, really?
Like, all you need me for is
so I'm only good enough for
get what you want.
To get what you want. It's like you're using God, and that's not okay. Like, if someone was using me, I'd be like, hold up, you really just asked me for something, and then you're just gonna leave? Like, you're just gonna be done? Like, that's not okay. You know what I mean? No. And so I think it's the mentality of young adults nowadays. It's just, it's such a complicated, like, like, it's just complicated, you know?
And like, young adults nowadays, I feel like there's a lot more pressure on us. There's more responsibilities, like, with, you know, a lot of people going to college nowadays, they have so much debt getting out of college, like, that their biggest stress in their life is, how am I going to pay all
getting
this?
a job.
Yeah.
And then job becomes like your whole life. Yeah. And then it's like, well, how do I make time with church? Exactly. How do I make time for church?
Because you have to work all the time to like solve the other issues in your life.
Well, we think we can't, but we can. We totally can. Like, just by going to mass like every Sunday, that's a first start.
Right.
Like,
and it's just an hour. It's not just like 1 hour. Your whole day is gone.
Right. It's just an hour. Just 1 hour of you sitting there, being present, being with God, and just having a conversation and really just igniting that relationship with him. And that's just the one little thing that you could do. I mean, there are plenty of other things you can do to, you know, incorporate your faith in every day. You could pray every day, pray every night, every morning. Like, that's another way to establish your relationship. Do the rosary.
Anything.
Devotions.
Go to adoration.
Yeah, go to the Blessed Sacrament. I mean, there's like a ton of things, and it's silly to me that we really just try and make excuses.
Right.
And I mean, I'm not even gonna lie, I still make excuses sometimes.
Yeah,
like,
so do I.
Like, oh man, I really don't want to go to mass today. Like, I'm tired. Like, I just worked all week.
You want that extra hour.
You want that extra hour of sleep. You know? But there's no excuses.
No.
Ultimately, there's no excuses. And so,
and like, what I found is, like, when you say yes to God, like, you say yes to that 1 hour at church, your next week is gonna have so many blessings that you're like, wow, you know, I should really just try and like make more time for God,
for real,
because you know, I made it through this week because of him. And you need to have that positive mentality, and you need to be willing to make that effort, because that's how it's going to be done.
Right.
Nobody's going to build your relationship with God. It's you. You have to do it yourself. And then if you're not going to, then you're just going to be living your life with time passing you by and just
and I think
not enjoying
and I think we're so quick to put the blame on the church, right? Like, we're so quick to put the blame. Like, of course, there are things that the church could be doing more for people like us. Yes, 100%. They could be doing more events. You know, they could be have more speakers to talk to us. Like, of course, there are things that they could be doing more, right? But at the same token, like, at the end of the day, we're the ones who are going to start that relationship.
Right.
The church isn't going to start that for us. They're going to give us the tools to build on that relationship, right? They give us the tools, the knowledge, everything we need to know about Jesus, about his church. But what are we going to do with that knowledge? We can't just let it sit in our brain and then expect everything to be peachy keen.
Make something out of it.
So, you know, we're so quick sometimes to blame the church, but it's a two-way street. And we have to take the initiative, you know what I mean? We have to really, really take the initiative to want to learn more. So what has your personal experience been with, like, your faith? So, like, with the church, like, any observations that you've made, you know, how you started and where you are now with your faith?
Well, for me, I grew up with going to Catholic school my entire life, from kindergarten all the way through college. Like, I had my faith around me my entire life, but I kind of feel like I took it for granted that whole time. You know, like you would, like for you guys out there who went to Catholic school, like you had religion class or theology class, and you know, you learned about your faith, but were you really open to it? Because I know I wasn't at the time. Like, I just went to that class like every other class, just tried to get through it.
Get that A.
Yeah, get that A, you know. And so, like, you just let the time pass you by. You don't really take it serious. But, like, one thing that really stuck out to me when I was reflecting on, like how I would talk about my journey is, like, in that time, you would go to Mass every month. It was like a requirement. And you would go once on a Friday as like a whole school.
Yeah, they still do that.
And yeah, and it's really nice. But like, you know, before I started coming to CMM, I had no idea the impact that adoration and being in front of the Blessed Sacrament was.
It's like literally
life-changing. It is like
it's
the most breathtaking and beautiful.
All right, we had technical difficulties. My phone, full storage, so we had to switch phones. Thank goodness you're here, because I would have been, I wouldn't have been good. All right, so like you were saying,
right,
going to Mass,
right,
adoration.
Going to Mass, and being in front of adoration is such a beautiful and like just intimate moment that you have with Christ. And I think like when I had that moment finally, when I started coming to CMM, that was when my faith journey started. You know, like I went to Catholic school my entire life, but not once did we have adoration. And so I think that's one thing, like maybe other Catholic schools do that, but from where I was, we didn't have that. So I think that's one really important thing, because I think that's something that's lacking. Is like that is one of the most beautiful ways for us to create that relationship with Christ. And it's one-on-one, you know, like you can just focus on you and him. Like you don't have to worry about the people around you. Whoever they are, just block them out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so fast forward like a lot of years, I was invited to Catholic Millennial Ministry for their date night with Christ. And all I did was I saw the flyer on Facebook. And
pretty much by default, since we're friends, I was just like, hey, you coming? And you were like, yeah, why not?
I remember I texted you and I was like, hey, are you going to this thing? Because, like, I kind of want to go, but I don't want to go by myself. And then she was like, well, yeah, me and Jose are, like, doing the whole thing. So, yeah. And I was like, oh, cool. So I think it takes that step, like, to be open, you know? If I wasn't open to coming, I would have never texted her. And if she asked me about it, I would have been like, you know, I have something that day.
Yeah, like,
but,
I'm not coming.
Like, deep inside, I felt like it's time for me to build that relationship. Like, I think I've always wanted that. I just never, I never knew how. And, like, when I was younger, I was part of, like, the youth group at the other parish that I went to. And I just felt like it didn't do anything for me. And I think one of the most important things is you have to find a faith community that you feel comfortable in.
Yeah.
The church I went to, I felt like there wasn't as many young people present. And I think it's important, you know, like, you want to be around people your age. You don't want to be around, like...
And you mimic what other young people are doing. Like, if you see young people at a youth group or a young adult ministry, you're like, oh, this must be good.
Right, you're going to be like,
okay,
what's that all about?
Right, what's that all about? Hold up. Like, if there's all these people going, I want to go.
Right.
Like, I want to know what it's about.
Exactly.
So it's about that, too. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I think, like, it started maybe even a little bit before that, because you would invite me to come to Divine Mercy. And I was like, oh, you know, like, I kind kind of want to go, you know. It was a time when I was becoming more interested in learning about like
like
my
that first step.
My faith, but also I kind of was like wanting to be more in a community where I could get in touch with my the Latina side of me,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Like I wanted to be around people that were the same as me, you know? Like, and so I thought it was a great opportunity to just come to CMM, see what it's all about. And that first night was literally the most life-changing time. I remember just sitting there, and I had so much weighing on my heart and on my mind at that time because I was right smack in the middle of college and just like all the stresses of that environment. And so when I had that opportunity to get in front of the Blessed Sacrament, I just broke down. And I hate crying in front of people, and you know that. And so, like, for me to do that in front of people I literally just met probably 2 hours prior, it was...
Well, that's a testimony. I mean, that goes to show that, like, you really wanted that relationship, and when you finally had that moment, it was like, Lord, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm open. I want you to make changes in my life. Help me, like... If you're here, like I said that in my last video, like I said, that was me too. Like I was like, if you're here, like
make it known.
Make it known. Like I want to feel you. I want to know that you're there. And it's just something about like.
It's something about that moment.
It was just so
that you just feel something so crazy, and I can't even like describe the feeling.
It's an undescribable
like you
feeling.
literally feel like goosebumps all over your body, and you're just like so in tune with yourself and your emotions that you just like you don't even know what to do. Like it's so crazy. But after that moment, that was literally just dipping my toes in the water. Like it was surface
that was the start.
Level. Like that was just the beginning.
All because you said, yeah, I'll go.
Right.
All because of the one thing.
Right.
Like, all right, let's say you went, right? And you were just like, this isn't for me. Fine, it's not for you.
Right.
Right?
And that happens to people. And you shouldn't be
100%.
like offended if like
100%.
you try to go out there and you just don't feel it, you know? Like that it's gonna happen. Like it's
and you're gonna have moments of like, okay, I'm not about this right now. Like it's normal. It's completely normal.
Right.
As long I almost knocked this thing out. As long as you don't give up, like don't give up on your faith, like, don't give up on God. You can have your moments of like questioning and just uncertainty and of doubt. You can have those moments, that's fine, but lay them all
lay them out for him.
Lay them out and be like, Lord, this is how I'm feeling. Like this is how I'm feeling. I'm frustrated. Like I don't even know. I feel like you're not talking to me. Like I feel like where are you? Like have a genuine like conversation with him. That's all it is.
Be you when you're talking to God. When you're praying, it doesn't have to be formal. It could literally be like, yo, like today, and then just like lay it out there. Like you need to be like just be one you. With God. Like you need to be able to just be you.
And that's the thing, like he doesn't care how you are. Like he doesn't care like what your thoughts are or like how you're feeling or the way you talk or like just be you.
Right.
Like
and that's all he wants is to be you because he made you.
He made you. You're made in his image. So he already knows what's weighing on you, right?
Right.
He already knows, but
he's
it's
waiting
the thing
for you
about
to
you
come
to
to
acknowledging
him with
it and saying, God, help me with this, and that's the beautiful thing about God is he gave us free will to make those decisions, right?
Yeah.
But we need to be smart and recognize like that we need him, we need him for a lot of the really that we're going through. So thank you for sharing that. That was really, really, really important, that thing that I wanted them to hear from you, and I want them to continue hearing testimonies from young adults, because I want them to know like all right, you may be struggling, you may be questioning, you may not know much about your faith, but that's why I'm here. That's why this channel was created, so that we can answer your questions, so that you can see people like us, who are our age, normal people, normal person here, just trying to figure it out. We're trying to figure out our Catholic faith, and so, you know, so I hope you really enjoyed her testimony, because it's a really good one. It's a really, really good one. So I just want to offer a couple solutions on things that maybe you may be feeling. So we talked about lack of formation, things of not being feeling unnoticed, and maybe some things that, you know, we're looking for instant gratitude. So I want to offer a little bit of solutions on things you can work on, or things that you can do to kind of become active and just start that journey. You know, we're all talking about starting that journey, and there's always that one moment that's that yes moment, right? That's that yes moment where you say, all right, God, what you got? What do you got, right? So the first solution I want to offer, and maybe this is directed towards like the parishes, and so, or maybe you can initiate it, you can start this, you know, offer or join any lay ministry programs or formation programs that are going to help you understand the Catholic faith more, right? It's going to help you set that foundation of, you know, what the Catholic Church is, like what is Mass, what is communion, like basic things that we took for granted in CCD and confirmation, things that maybe we didn't really understand.
But now really being an adult, you might be able to get it better.
Might be able to, like, it might click better now, you know? So, join any lay ministry formation, what is it called? Programs. I know here in the Diocese of Camden, we do have a lay ministry program, and there's also IMIC courses offered by the Hispanic ministry. So they are Spanish courses, and I can say we've been taking them.
And they are bomb. They're so good. They're so good.
Girl.
Yes.
If this is a girl watching, girl, the things you learn, it's just crazy. It's crazy.
Mind-blowing. It's the only way I can describe it.
And it's things that, like, you're like, what?
Yes.
Like, it just...
And things like you've learned before, but you're seeing them in, like, an adult's eyes.
Right.
Like, it's so
And it's
different.
just being broken down in a way that you can understand better, like normal people terms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know? So definitely take the initiative to start that. If you feel like your parish should be offering something like that, talk to your, talk to the pastor, or talk to, go to the rector and be like, hey, like, I really want this. Ask for resources. And maybe you'll stir something up, and maybe they'll start something, right? Another thing is to join any parish ministries. If there's a young adult ministry in your parish, go.
Yeah.
Go. Go. Like, seriously, go. Because, or you go one time, right? And you could be missing out on something so great. You could be missing out on a community of young adults, people like us.
Who are feeling the same way as you,
feeling the same exact way as you. Just go and just test the waters, go, but go with an open heart. Don't go like all like,
yeah, like you're not wanting to, you're just there because you feel like
I'm
you have
to find out like what the hype is about. Right, you know what I mean? Like just go and go
be
with
genuine about it.
Yeah, be genuine and just be open. Because I can promise you're probably gonna get a lot out of it. You can become a lector. So let's say you're already in your faith journey and you're pretty solidified, but you need something more. Like you need a little more to like spice it up. Become a lector, become a Eucharistic minister if that's what you're called to do. Maybe express your interest to, your pastor and say, listen, like I really feel like I need more. Like, what can I do? What can I do to join? Maybe parish council or like, I don't know, something, just express that interest. And also become active in your parish community, like in any activities that they have, any fundraisers, if they're having events like with speakers or retreats or anything, like just go, become active, because that's a way of you establishing that relationship that you want with the, you know, with your parish, with your church.
Right.
And that's a way to make yourself known. They're going to see you and be like, oh, this young person's coming. Like, this is great. You know, they're going to see that and they're going to want to know more.
Right.
And so that's a way to plug yourself in. Remember, it's also about you taking the initiative. It's a two-way street. Yes, the church has to do things that, you know, that help us just understand things more and help us become more involved. Yes, 100%. Right. But again, like we said earlier, it's a two-way street. It's your relationship with God, and it's up to you to start it, to want to learn more. And so I challenge you to do that, you know, within the next week, within the next couple weeks. Let me know if you have tried anything, what has worked for you, what hasn't worked for you. Let me know in the comments, like, if you have any suggestions on things maybe parishes could do to, you know, to attract more young adults. And even let me know if you had a bad experience. Like, let me know. Like, I want to know. You know, that's the only way to talk through it, and for us to be able to, like, figure it out together.
Right.
So,
and you could probably give like a different perspective on it if you're not being in that situation. Like, you could give that positive outlook on something.
Definitely. And if you have any ideas, you know, comment below, let us know, so that we can get those actions, you know,
address
and put into action. You know, we want to make sure that, you know, your
voice is heard.
Exactly. Your voice is heard. And so I think that pretty much ends our episode. That was really good. I'm excited. That was really good. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. We had a little mishap with the phone, but so if you see it cut off a little bit, that's why. It's because my phone, you know, decided to have full storage. So first world problems.
That's so true.
Right. So thank you for joining us tonight. We had a really good time. I'm really excited to have you on here again, hopefully soon. Thank you for joining us. I said that already. Make sure you like, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and on Instagram, Keepin It Catholic. Thank you again for so much love and support that you have already shown. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Catholic Millennial Ministry for also being a huge amount of support and just being that plug for the young adults. We thank you, you know, for everything that you do, and all the work they're doing. It's acknowledged, and just keep going at it. Keep the faith, you know, keep going at it strong, keep that fire going. And I can promise you that that relationship is gonna be
blossom.
It's gonna be explosive, like 100%. So thank you again. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.